What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down how to be a great slot wide receiver. So we're going to be talking about all the great things that slot wide receivers need to be able to do in order to have success against bigger physical DBs, against like off-man coverage, and then kind of a catch technique coverage off the line, okay? So I hope this video gives you some value. And also, guys, we are having a Black Friday 50% off sale on my website. If you check out that very first link in the description, it says Black Friday sale, 50% off on my website. All my programs, 50% off. Use the code FRIDAY50. FRIDAY50, use that code. Sale ends at midnight tonight. Black Friday only sale. Hope to get you guys on some of those products. Really think it'll help you. More advanced stuff than what I cover on my YouTube videos. Again, link in the description. Let's get started. So first things first here, we're going to be talking about this kind of release here from Stephon Diggs. We're mainly just going to be talking about the release and how you guys can combat a more physical DB, okay? So let's watch this thing full speed, and then we'll break it down. So you see how Adams comes at him right here, lunges at him, and Diggs is able to get off of that press, give him a little peek back move, and then create some separation, okay? So the move, we're going to focus on that later in this video, but mainly right now we're going to focus on the line, right? Because this is something that so many slot receivers struggle with. Is what can I do when I have a guy who's going to be real physical? He's going to try to choke me right off the line and lunge at me. You know what I mean? And this is a very experienced move here by Stephon Diggs, because if this guy tries to lunge at me, you guys got to understand, he loses his base. He's coming outside of his frame. He's off balance, okay? So that's something that you guys really need to focus on when a DB is going to be lunging at you, right? And now this is something that I normally see a lot of in 7-on-7, right? Because they don't change up the snap count. If you guys are worried about 7-on-7 and guys doing this to you, not as realistic as this, right? Because the DB kind of has to react off of you when it's man coverage, but this is the rare situation that you see where this guy tries to completely jam you off the line, right? One-on-one, 7-on-7, there's no change in the snap count, so the DB already automatically has more of an advantage when it comes to that aspect, right? Not in the whole route. I know DBs would jump me if I said that. Not in the whole entire route, right? Because obviously they're playing a guessing game. So if you guys can get off a press, it's 100% your advantage, but in that situation, they do in 7-on-7. So you see when Adams comes at him here, right? Look at his base. His legs are trailing behind him. He's lunging at him. So as a receiver, we got to make sure that I don't take that back step. It's kind of about who's going to take that first back step, who's going to be off balance, right? And if I have great balance and I have a great pad level and I have a plan with my hands, I should be able to, I should be able to get off of this press, right? So you guys got to understand, I want to take an inside release, right? That's where you want to go in this case. He's lunging at me right here. What arm do you have to beat when he takes an inside release, especially when he doesn't have his base? You just got to beat his inside arm, right? So in this case, his left arm. If he lunges at you with two hands, he doesn't have his base. If you swat that left arm by, even if he's still able to get hands on you with the right arm, he's not going to be able to recover and open up and turn because he loses his base. He lunges at him. He's off balance. Swat those hands by, and then let's go. And you see, when we attack, fellas, we want to make sure that my hands are always ready to go. You see how Diggs has his hands. He's very relaxed, but they're not up by his chest. He's not super tense, but they're not hanging super low past his knees. Just nice, relaxed, good posture situation where his hands are right by his knees, right? So anytime this guy jumps, I'm ready to react. I'm not afraid of this thing. I'm not going to be on my heels. I'm going to keep a good pad level. I'm going to swat those hands by, and then I go. Then I work to restack. I'm able to get over the top. That's a great job by Diggs beating an aggressive DB. So that's something you guys can do, right? There are many different ways, in my opinion, to attack this type of guy. A lot of people teach that like step back release. Somebody left a comment about that the other day about doing a step back release. Me personally, I don't teach that release. I feel that you can get a little bit too creative with it, where you do too much and then you're screwing up the timing with the quarterback. I would much rather have something like this, or like a quick slide into open space, which we're going to cover in a second, okay? So let's watch this off the line again one more time. Great job keeping good pad level, good balance on the front leg, not leaning back, and having a plan for those hands to create some separation. That's a great job here by Diggs. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the importance of being able to restack and having sudden feet off the line as a slot receiver, right? So if I'm in this situation again, more disciplined man coverage, not going to be lunging at me. How you can create separation is by being sudden with your feet and using that restack, using your size to your ability, right? Or using your size to your advantage, excuse me. So when we come off here and we give this kind of 1-2, right? You see how sudden he is with his feet. If you guys can be sudden with your feet, what it does is it forces a reaction out of the DB. It doesn't give him as much time to react. What a lot of people do, the mistakes they make, is they step too wide with their release. They'll step super far left, super far right. They open up their toes. That's not what I want to do. I want to be sudden with my feet. Yes, you want to step outside of his frame. Yes, you want to threaten him, because if you can be sudden and step outside of his frame, it threatens him like you're just trying to take an inside release right now. And when you can threaten a DB like that, get him off that platform and really kind of just make him think you're going one way, right? That's as simple as it gets. But if your feet are sudden, it forces a reaction. So that's what I'm trying to stress right here. Being sudden with my feet, but also the suddenness of those feet, what it does is it creates explosion. You could explode off the line. You see how he's kind of pushing off of this leg right here. Now, when we push off that leg, what's important off the line? This is kind of what I wanted to focus on for slot receivers, mainly in this clip, is that restack, right? So when you guys are shorter, it's going to be a lot easier to maybe dip this shoulder and kind of shoulder reduce right here and get back over the top, right? It doesn't necessarily reduce like you would maybe see like DeAndre Hopkins. He does a great job of doing that. But when you guys are able to restack and you're a shorter guy and he's trailing your back hip, it's going to be much easier for us to create separation on these kind of speed cut routes, or maybe like a post, maybe a corner, maybe a speed out. But when you guys are able to restack, you can do so much at the top of the route. So I think one of the main keys when you're facing maybe a slower linebacker type or a slower strong safety type, walk down and man coverage nickels type, you want to make sure that you're quick off the line, you're sudden, you're not trying to do too much. And when you get up into that stem of the route, we have a plan. My plan is to restack if I can get some separation at the top of the route. And also, guys, you see in this situation, this DB has no hands on him, right? When he throws this cut, he gives this kind of head and shoulder fake. DB doesn't necessarily bite on it. He's in a good position to make this play, but they're still able to get some separation, right? Key on this route is that we got to make sure we restack, because when he's trailing my back hip, there's a lot we could do. We could throw a rocker step, so I could throw a left then right, then break to the corner. Maybe he should have done that. I could do a heavy indicator cut, which is what he does right here. I could peek back. I could be in the stem of this route and hold my eyes looking back to this ball, sounding like I'm running a seam, and then pop this thing off. There's so many different things that you guys can do. If he's running hip to hip with you for whatever case, you can lean into him. So one of the main keys about being a great slot receiver is just have a plan at the top of the route. You guys are going to be obviously quicker. Slot guys, shorter guys, they got to be quicker. We're not going to try to engage. We're not going to try to hand fight with these bigger safety linebacker types, because we're going to lose. It's like being a jiu-jitsu fighter and fighting a boxer and trying to just stand up with the guy the whole time, right? You're going to try to take him down. So let's beat him with quickness. Let's beat him with speed. That's how I got to be. When I run routes as a slot receiver, that's what I got to focus on. Make your move. Get up in the route. Let's get out of the route. Be where the quarterback expects me to be. Let's watch this thing again, full speed one more time. So he hits that 1-2, bursts up vertical, shoulder reduce, make that sudden jab, and then let's explode upfield. Great route here. Late hands over the top too. So now we're going to be talking about this like hesitation skip here. And this is something that quicker guys can really take advantage of by changing up tempo with like walk down. You got a linebacker walk down pressing you. You got a safety walk down playing man coverage, right? So when I come off the line, you see what Adams does here. He does this little hesitation and then he goes, right? And when we hesitate into that range, forces the DB to make a decision. So let's talk about that, right? So when he comes off the line here, how many times have you guys seen Davante Adams hesitate and then he goes right, left, and he'll break and run a slant, right? He'll break at the right, catch himself with the left, and then accelerate out, beat dudes all the time on a slant. He's super sudden with his feet. That's what builds into this, right? So if he hesitates and does that maybe one time, then we combat him with this, right? So you see how Adams, he hesitates, and what does this DB do? It's forcing him to make a decision. He's not covering himself. What I mean by that is when he hesitates and he does this kind of like almost like, I wouldn't call it a slide release. I would call this more of like a hesitation step to the outside. This DB is forced to either come at him and lunge at him or stay disciplined on the inside and try to take away the slant, right? And either or I like, because let's say we hesitate. This is something the slot receivers got to be able to do too, especially when you're facing a physical guy on the inside shade and you do that kind of slide release. Okay, I'm going to lunge at him. You know what I mean? We're thinking that DB's going to lunge at me. I could slide into open range and make him lunge, and then I could just beat him to the outside, right? This slide right here is what's going to get you space, okay? So now when we slide up the line, again, he's thinking, okay, I could stay to the inside and stay disciplined and maybe give him that outside, but we change up that tempo. What's the DB going to do? He's going to change up his tempo because he's trying to match me. He's trying to watch my hips, right? Or what he could do right here is lunge. And if he lunges at me, I know to take an outside release. Which hand do you got to beat? You got to beat his left hand. So if he lunges at me in this situation, I slide, he lunges, I could just beat the left hand. I could just rip over with my left hand because, again, much like the first clip, when a DB lunges at you, he's not in his platform. He's not in his base, and then he's off balance, right? So we got to make him make a decision. Make him make a decision. In this case, he stays disciplined on the inside. So what do? I beat him with speed. I keep my head down. I go from 0 to 100. The thing about this is we know when we need to change speed. DB doesn't, right? So when we come off the line, I hesitate, and I make him make that choice. He's trying to match my speed. He's slowing his feet down, and then I go. Then I burst up vertical, and I put my head down, and I run. That's the key to get separation on this type of a release. I bait this guy in, slow play him, then I take off. Keep my head down, pump those arms, and then I make sure I finish that play. It's a great job by Adams finishing that catch. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. So right here, hesitate, and then take off. Head down, pump those arms. Let's make sure I accelerate, and let's catch this ball over the top. Great route here by Adams. Great job using that release. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I hope this video gave you some value in terms of what you can do as a slot receiver to become better. Again, Black Friday, 50% off sale on my website. Use the code Friday50. Check out that first link in the description to get access to my store. 50% off on any order, guys. Hope to get you guys on some of those programs. If you guys have any questions at all, please leave those in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'll see you guys next time.